You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Extreme Weight Loss After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Extreme Weight Loss After Show.
Let's get it started.
We had to dance a little bit from the beginning because once again, another episode of Extreme Weight Loss AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Morgan Martin.
Hey, I'm Jackie Powell.
And we are so excited, not only for this awesome episode, but we had to dance it out because later on in the show, we are going to be hearing from our girl, Charita.
I had to pull up the dance moves to get prepared for Charita. Last time it was Zumba moves and we were trying to do this. I just feel like we have to start off the show with dance, you know?
Absolutely.
So that Charita won't be disappointed.
Of course.
You know?
But even before we get to Charita, of course, we have to talk about Georgeanna, the gymnast extraordinaire. I was impressed. She made me want to bring back.
We got Charita.
Charita.
Hey, Charita. What up?
Chariri, what's going on?
Oh my gosh, nothing. Still reeling off of the excitement of the episode.
How awesome was tonight's episode? It was so great.
It was epic.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, the gymnast, really?
Yeah.
She actually reminded me a lot about you. Just, you know, you love to dance, and she was like a gymnast. And, you know, right off the bat, he made her do cartwheels. And right off the bat, for you, he made you, like, do a dance routine. So I felt like you guys had a lot of similarities. So, you know, at first I was like, they're making her do a handstand. And my heart was, like, beating so fast. Kind of like with your episode, I was like, they're going to make her jump right in and do a routine right now. But Chris always knows the right thing to do.
Oh, my. I'll tell you what, doing that dance routine was ridiculous. It was hotter than Hades outside. So many people were watching me practice. I can't even imagine how George felt, how she felt doing that floor routine in all of those people, especially because I know the person that she is.
Yeah.
So what's it like? Like, what is she like? I know you said that you guys have a great relationship, and I'm sure so many of you guys, like, just sharing the experience together. Like, what is that like when you guys, you know, come through and you have to share everything that you guys go through because there's so many similarities?
You know, honestly, like, it really become a this year, and it didn't start out that way. The beginning was more like functional family. We were all trying to figure out ourselves and what got us to, you know, where we were at with weight in our lives, and we were forced to be with each other and together and like push each other ourselves. And it's amazing because even though we had the initial first 90 days, every time that we get back together, it's like a family reunion, and it's ridiculous.
So you guys actually all work out at like the same times, or is it separate?
No, it was all together at the same time. We lived together.
Oh, wow.
What is that like?
It's like living with your family, guys.
I wish that they showed, you know, on a separate episode, maybe at the very end when everybody has their own separate transformation in their own show, maybe at the very end show like a behind the scenes of just you guys living together. Because, I mean, it's a whole nother reality show on its own, I feel.
I'm going to be so honest. We've all been talking about the reunion show that needs to happen because this year was a first for Extreme Weight Loss, having the boot camp 90 days, having all of us crazy people all together living in apartments, trying to manage all these different personalities and people and help us separately and together through our journeys. There's going to be a lot of bloopers. I know it.
Can you share, like, what's, like, one of, like, the craziest things that happened in the Extreme Weight Loss house?
Oh, my gosh. Well, we lived in apartments, and so they were smart to separate the guys and the girls.
Okay.
So, first off, there's no craziness taking place there.
Good to know.
But certainly, like, I never went to college and had roommates and lived with like other girls, and so for me personally, it was hard having all these females around. Like, I just wanted to punch them most of the time because I live in a house with a husband and 3 sons, and I'm the queen bee.
Right.
Having to deal with all that emotion, oh my gosh. OMG. I couldn't handle it. It was ridiculous. It was like most of the time I found myself trying to be like in the guys' room because there was no drama, there was no like talking, there was no crying, and I could just chill and watch TV.
Yeah. What was it like for you? I mean, obviously, you're just talking about how excited you were to watch this episode, and I'm sure it's like that for watching all the episodes and just seeing so many of like what you're calling family go through this transformation. What was it like even watching Georgeanna go through the back handspring like moment? Because I'm sure you guys have been part of that whole process.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like a proud sister moment. It's like, yes, she finally hit it. And I remember that day when she called up all the girls. We do this mass texting all the time, and we just kind of in contact with each other, and she told everyone, I finally hit my back handspring. I got it on video. Awesome. I can't wait for you guys to see it. And it was like, we're all just rooting for each other throughout the entire year, through the ups and the downs. And we actually did get to see each other at that 9-month mark. So I got to see her do her back handspring, and it was
cool.
Awesome.
I wish they would show these behind-the-scene things, but I guess they can't because, everybody has their own transformation. Yeah. But what did you think about overall tonight's episode?
Oh, my gosh. I felt like they really portrayed Georgeanna in a good light, and she's such a sweet spirit, but she's so emotional, and she could even testify to this. The whole year, I was just like, stop crying. Stop crying. Georgeanna, stop crying. I'm going to pinch you if you don't stop crying. Like, I cannot handle the emotion.
You're such a mama, Charita.
It was so awesome to see it tonight because it made tears come to my eyes. And it's just like, that is who she is. And she's so tender, and she's so emotional that way, and she's so sensitive. But, like, she's so kind, and she's so sweet. And you could really see that just, like, come out in everything that she said and in everything that they showed. And so I was really proud of the production. And I was just really proud for Georgeanna because she really did a fantastic job.
You're saying you're proud of production on tonight's episode in particular, but has there been a moment where you feel like they haven't been portrayed the right way, or?
Honestly, nobody really knows about TV until you experience it for your first, for yourself. And so, yeah, I think there's always going to be times where people are not always exactly excited about the way that things are portrayed. In the beginning, I was a little bit disheartened, like, oh, they're making me out to be a failure in all these commercials and, leading up to the premiere. And people are going to think that I'm the quitter. And, it's like, I know everything that I did. But what really stuck out to me was that actually none of that stuff really matters because I know the truth, and I'm walking the proof. Like, I am my own work. I am my own proof. And that'll show through, the teasers and building up for the drama and the sizzler, and that's TV. Yeah. I am always going to be me, and nobody and nothing can change that. And I'm finally proud of it. So there were moments that I was just like, I really wish that they wouldn't have done that or made me look that way, but it is what it is. Nobody's ever perfectly happy with everything.
Yeah, and it's so interesting to hear that because, of course, we always have our own perception of how we come across. But I know your episode for us is one of the episodes we talk about all the time, like your dance and your Zumba. I mean, so are you still, like, keeping that up? Are you still teaching Zumba classes? Like, what are you up to now?
Yes, I'm still teaching Zumba classes and, like, loving it. I'm actually getting ready for a convention, which is taking place in Orlando in August. And so I am so excited. I get to meet some of the people from Zumba Home Office who've been following my journey and just come alongside me and supporting me throughout this entire year. So it's going to be great to connect with these people, almost like a finished, semi-finished product type of a thing. Yeah. So I'm really excited. I'm still teaching classes. I love it. Girls, I'm not kidding. The other day, I texted Morgan and was like, I don't want to make you girls eat your words and take my class.
Yes.
So now I just have to find a reason to get to LA.
Yes, we were talking about it because we were doing the dance like before the episode on the AfterBuzz show. We were like doing the Zumba. We were like, we need Charita to come and teach us some dance moves immediately. If you come to LA,
we are there.
we'll do AfterBuzz TV
we will
special.
be front row and center.
No, seriously. I know I could use some Zumba help. That's for sure. Yeah.
I was actually doing the dance with you girls when I was watching it on YouTube.
I
My kids
love
were like, what are
it.
you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing Zumba. And they're like, oh my gosh, here we go again.
Zumba in the chair. That's what we do over here.
That's great. Oh, we love you. We absolutely love you. We had so much fun watching your episode, truly.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You girls were so gracious to me. Like, I just can't even thank you enough.
Is there
So
anything
happy.
else that you want to tell us that happened like on the show while you're on there that, you know, you just didn't get to, people didn't get to see, but you kind of wanted them to see? Because I saw Kathy, she posted something on Instagram where she did a pole dancing class, and she was like, oh, this is a unseen scene from the show. Yeah. And I was like, that would have been really cool to see Kathy take some pole dancing class. That would have been a lot of fun. Yeah. Is there anything on your episode that they didn't show that you kind of wish that they put on the show?
No. Like, if anything, I was just afraid, like, oh, they're going to air all the stuff where I keep saying, oh, crap, oh, crap, oh, crap. And my mom's going to be like, oh, my gosh, Charita, I did not mean you to talk that way. I was thinking, like, my kids are going to be like, you said crap. And I'll be like, don't say that or I'm going to smack you in the mouth. So, like, literally, I was really pleased with, I wish that they could have shown more of the stuff that I did, like more of the workouts and more of the one-on-one time that I have with Chris and Heidi and with my family.
Yeah.
But, I mean, overall, I'm so blessed. Like, I can't even complain. It was great.
That's awesome.
Now, one of the things, I mean, we get so excited when the big reveal comes out for everybody, and they're like, you guys have just tremendously shrunk. I mean, watching Georgeanna, I mean, go from, she literally lost half of herself, starting off at 313 and getting down to 150 pounds. So I know how excited we get. What is that moment like for you all to walk out on that stage and just show everybody like all the hard work that you have done?
It's exhilarating. Like, I walked out on that stage and it's completely black and people are screaming already and they're cheering, but they can't even see you. And then when the lights like flipped up, it's like you just get this big burst of bright light and you can't help but smile because people are screaming. And even though you can't see people yet, and then it's like your eyes focus and you see like people crying and like falling over their chairs, just being ridiculous. And they're so happy and they're so proud for you. And it was just like, wow, I had no idea that I was gonna have such an effect. You know, all I could think about was everything that I've done that whole year. You know, when you're watching that episode and they're turning the scale and they're showing all these flashbacks and memories, like that was how I felt walking out onto that stage. Like, this is the moment. It's all about to be realized. This is it. This is the finale. And I was not at all prepared for what took place when those lights came up. I mean, I was just overwhelmed.
I love how they put the image of you guys on like the very first day before the transformation, and then they put you next to yourself, like present day. I think that's so crazy how they do that, and you see your old self and what you first said before the transformation, and you're kind of looking at it, and you're like, this is me now. I love that they do that on the show. But me and Morgan were talking about one thing that we wish we could see. The skin removal is such a big thing for you guys. You know, you guys really go after the skin removal. I kind of wish that they showed that part. They just show you guys on the last day, which is awesome because you made this huge transformation. But I really want to see, you know, the skin removal part. Or what do you think about that?
You know, I really feel like that would be a real part of the episode. And me personally, I'm still waiting for my skin removal surgery. So I will make you all the videos you want, girl.
Yes.
You name it, you get it.
I
you
love
will
it.
see all the bandages and the drains, and you can see all the stitches, you can see all the before and all the afters. But I really feel like that is real for people, and it really helps other people on the outside looking in to understand what our bodies have transformed into, and how, you know, we do kind of portray ourselves a little bit different. And even though we've lost all this weight and we've become so healthy, our body looks different. And, you know, we're our own worst critic. And sometimes we find things still that we're unhappy with. And so getting that skin removal surgery is such an integral part of the transformation, because it just helps us finalize everything that we've worked so hard for.
Yeah. So when, you know, obviously you've got this year that you're, you know, under lights, camera, action. So I'm sure it makes it a little bit easier to push through and stay on your nutrition plan and work out and all of these things. But once all of that goes away, how has it been, like, still trying to keep up with maintaining your weight and staying motivated? And I mean, of course, even helping other people with you being a Zumba instructor.
Absolutely. You know, it has been challenging, because now that all of the glitz and glamour is gone and complete real life has set in, it has, I want to say it's slowed down, but it hasn't really. It's almost like I hit the ground running. And I have to be this example for myself and stay true to myself and everything that I've worked so hard for. But I have these kids who are looking and saying, okay, Mom, where do we go now? What do we do now? How do we eat now? Does everything go right back to the way it was in the beginning now that the TV cameras are gone?
Right.
You know, my husband is diabetic. He's still diabetic, you know, today. And so it's a very real thing for me to keep up with this nutrition. And my family, you know, they're all healthy. They're healthier and smaller than me. It's like, it doesn't end when the cameras go away. I feel like it's gotten a little more difficult because, like you said before, you have all that stuff to focus on and help push you through. And now I'm my accountability, and I have my accountability partners, you know, the people in my life who are set up to help me with that. But even when I go out to the grocery store, people are like, what are you eating? What's in your basket? I saw you on TV.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
Right?
It's like, get out of my basket right now. I got this. Why are you looking in my basket?
Yes. I'm like, oh, those Oreos? Yeah, no, those aren't for me.
Those are for my kids. Leave me alone.
Those are growing boys. Look at my son. He's 5'10". These are for my growing boys.
Right.
You know? Like, wow. If nothing else, I'm going to tell you that the general public helps to keep me accountable.
That is great.
They are almost like the cameras. Like, I got eyes on me all the time. And when people are looking at me, I think to myself, are they looking at me because they saw me on TV? Are they looking in my basket? Are they wanting to know what I'm eating? Do I look the same size? No. Like, honestly, I'm keeping up with the nutrition. I'm keeping up with the exercise because it is more than just an episode. It is more than just TV cameras. It's about accountability, and it's also about paying it forward. Like, to all my ladies at church who are so excited and they're ready to get me teaching Zumba classes at church.
There you go.
I love it.
It has been like a Zumba craze taking place.
Oh,
so,
I love it.
So no, it's not over. It's just beginning.
That's awesome. And I mean, I love watching the stories like yours and like Georgeanna, because you guys are moms. So you guys relate to so many women, not only trying to, you know, empower themselves, but more importantly, like empowering your husbands and your kids. But, you know, I even wonder, like, what is that like going through this journey, and even those months that you have to be separated from your family and still trying to stay motivated? Because I know how much your family means not only to you, but obviously you could tell from Georgeanna also.
Absolutely. You know, when I was with Georgeanna at boot camp, she was always on the phone with Scott, and we teased her all the time because that's what I do. That's how I show love.
There you go.
We tease her. We're like, oh, it's 6 o'clock. You got to go talk to your man. You better go check in. You better go talk to Scott. You know.
Well, Scott's looking good. Scott lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, he did.
He was doing his thing. He wasn't playing around while his woman was gone. They were definitely doing the right thing by keeping in touch and, like, communicating with each other and encouraging each other. And it's like, it was almost like she was rejuvenated after every conversation she had with Scott. When I talk to my husband, you know, I'm going to tell you, I have 3 little kids at home. So my husband was responsible for a 6, 8, and 13-year-old.
It's a lot of pressure.
And he had help from my family, but, like, he really was a mom and a dad.
Wow.
And he had to really jump right in there. And on top of that, he's working, you know, and trying to take care of 3 kids, which is completely foreign to him to do by himself.
Yeah.
And he did amazing. Like, my kids were still alive when I came home. Okay.
Check.
Nobody lost any limbs.
Check.
One of my kids did break a finger, but that is minor compared to what could have taken place.
Half a check.
Just a finger broken. We're okay. Everything is
We
okay.
are okay. Kids are alive. Like, husband is intact. He is getting healthy. And, you know, they didn't really touch on that in my episode because they didn't really have time with my episode being split. But my husband lost about 40 pounds himself.
Wow.
And being diabetic, his numbers, his A1C dropped from 12.9 to 7.
Yeah.
So just in that 90 days. I mean, it was just a dramatic transformation for him. So he was doing all this at home, plus getting healthy, plus cooking healthy, plus working and taking care of kids. And, I mean, like, he was holding it down.
He was Mr. Mom.
I didn't know what kind of expectations we were going to be having.
That's awesome. That's so great. Charita, LA, okay?
We're waiting for you.
Like, you got to come down here. You have to.
I will make this happen.
We will hold you to that. Well, we don't want to keep you too long. I just have to ask one question. I mean, if you can give any advice to anybody that may be listening and either is thinking about starting a weight loss journey or not sure if they should, what's one, you know, piece of advice that you could give them that really helped keep you and is keeping you on track?
Vulnerability, honestly.
That's good.
Becoming vulnerable, exposing yourself, just like Georgeanna said in her episode tonight, like, you can't go back from there. It's all out there, and all you can do is move forward. And what I realized in my journey and getting to know every single crazy, amazing person from Extreme Weight Loss Season 4 is that when you expose yourself and you reach out and you ask for help, there are people there who are dying to support you and who are willing to come alongside you, like, literally every step of the way. And so you're not alone in the process. Even though you feel isolated and even though you feel depressed or anxious, you're not alone in the process. Find out what is your why. And it has to be important. It has to be important more than anything else in this world, because that's what's going to keep you going at the end of the day. When you're physically tired and you're mentally tired and you're emotionally drained, what's important to you and why you're doing this, why you're becoming a healthier you, that's what's going to keep you.
That's awesome. Well, you definitely found your why. We all know that.
Yeah.
And if you could just go ahead and share with the viewers where they can go if they want to take your Zumba class, where they can go, and the convention as well, because I know, just like us, there's other girls that want to take that Zumba class.
Yes, well, absolutely. I have a website on Zumba.com. I also have my Facebook pages, Charita Smith Extreme Weight Loss. I'm on Instagram, Charita35. I'm on Twitter, it's Smith Charita. And go to Zumba.com, search me, Charita Smith. It'll tell you exactly where my classes are in town. I'm excited to teach, and I can't wait to get to LA. Ladies, thank you so much for having me tonight.
No,
You're such a pleasure to
you.
talk. And I love that you just keep it real. Always keep it real with us.
That's all I can do. That's all I can do.
Thank you so much, and tell the family we said hello.
Okay. I love that we got to talk to her. She's so awesome.
Shariri. She is
Zumba.
She is Zumba. And I mean, it was so perfect to have her call in today, especially because obviously knowing Georgeanna and being another mom. And so I kind of just want to dive into our episode tonight. I mean, she was great growing up, you know, obviously doing gymnastics and, you know, once that kind of stops, and then obviously, you know, the whole imperfectly being perfect, which I love.
Yeah, tonight's episode, I think what you say exactly, it was perfect that Charita called in because they had so much in common. They both have kids, they're moms. And even my mom, I've told you guys, you know, in previous episodes that my mom was overweight. And it's so funny because it was my sister and she was a single mom, so I can only imagine what she had to go through. But she was really strong, and what I love the most about her tonight is that she just went for it.
Yeah.
She didn't make any excuses. She didn't stop and say this was too hard ever. I feel like for her, it was just she just knew what she was going after, and she just totally went for it. I loved her that she just went all out and didn't hold back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and again, Heidi and Chris always know like that one button that's going to take her over and just really continue to drive. For her, it was gymnastics. And even from day one, like having her bust out 50 cartwheels up and down the field, I was like, heck no.
That made me nervous at first. I was like, man, you know, doing a cartwheel at that weight could be really challenging. Yeah. And she just like busted it out with great form. I was like, wow, she did really good. Yeah. And then she went all the way down the one way. And then Heidi was like, okay, go back. And I was like, wow, that must be a lot of pressure on your hands. But I was just blown away just on her, what was that, like the first month of her working out? And she was busting out all those cartwheels. Yeah. I was impressed.
Yeah, and I think that what I love too is obviously her blood pressure was a huge part of this episode. But what I loved is that, that's something that a lot of people struggle with. But they were like with diet, just with nutrition, and just getting the weight loss down on no medication, she was able to tackle that, which is huge.
I love that they show that in this episode because, like you said, there's so many people that go to doctors and a lot of people that struggle with this problem. And the first thing that people do is just like feed them pills, when it's like the easiest solution. Well, not the easiest, but you don't have to take all these pills. You don't have to go to the hospital all the time and go see these doctors. It's simply like your nutrition and just working out. Yeah. And I'm glad that they like showed that it's possible to lower that, and you don't have to go to the doctor. You don't have to take all these pills, but you just have to change what you eat and work out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she killed it in phase one. I mean, she started off 313 pounds. Her goal was 225, and she got all the way down to 221 pounds. So she, in the first 3 months, lost 94 pounds, and it was a huge difference.
Yeah, she looked great, and it was so cool. Chris said, he was like, this is probably one of the best clients I've ever had. Yeah. And it's because her determination. She just went, like I said, she just went after it. And I was just like, whoa, that's a lot coming from Chris, saying that's one of the best clients he's ever had. But yeah, she looked great. She 94 pounds in 3 months. Yeah. That's incredible.
And even Chris gave a challenge. He looked everybody in the eye on camera and gave a 90-day challenge. And he said in 90 short days, you can change your life forever.
I thought that was a really good part, too, when he just, like, looked the camera straight in the eyes and was like, you can do it. And it's true, like, not even with weight loss, just everything. So it's like, what are your goals? What do you want to do? And, like, just place goals. And I just like that he just kind of challenged everybody.
And I feel challenged. My 90-day goal, I'm throwing it out there.
What is it?
Back handspring.
Ooh, don't do it. It's
gonna come. Oh gosh, I said it out loud.
You said it. 90-day goal, back handspring. I have to come up with a 90-day goal.
We'll work. We got you, Chris.
Okay, yeah.
But even, of course, one of my favorite parts is when them getting the makeover. And she was long hair, don't care. She was flipping it.
Down, but she was flipping it back and forth. Yeah, she looked so good. She did. And I really liked, her husband. She went to her church, I believe. And everybody was just, like, so blown away. Yeah. And her husband, too, he looked great. He had been, like, working out, too. And he looked awesome. I thought that was a really good little makeover that they had.
And I think that probably helped her, too, to know that, obviously us hearing from Charita that they stayed in constant communication, but to know that not only, I think a lot of people get so fearful coming home because they know that they're coming back to the environment which they left and not sure if the people around them are going to support them in the way that they want to. But, I mean, he lost weight in the course of that 90 days. So he was like right there, not only a supportive partner, but really supportive because he went on the journey with her, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. On the last episode that we saw, Brandy's girlfriend wasn't supporting her, and she started gaining all this weight with like stress. And it just goes to show having a support system is super, super important. And you saw with her, like she was like knocking out the pounds. Yeah, and it's because she did. She had a really good support system. Yeah.
And I mean, she also got to train with Nadia Comaneci. So I'm just
that
saying.
too. Yeah. I think we got to talk about that.
Which is huge. I mean, and even just being, you can tell, I mean, you can tell she has that background. I mean, her form was great. It was almost like riding a bike, you know what I mean? Like a lot of that stuff was still there, and obviously with some strength and coaching, but you can tell right off the bat that she had like that basic, really great foundation.
Yeah, I think the challenge that Chris gave her for the 6-month marker to put on a performance, like could be really scary and seem like a lot. that, but I'm glad that he did that. And he hooked her up with some really good trainers in that field. So it was cool to see her just like go after it, do like these back handsprings, like being spotted and doing back handsprings. That's intense. You know, at this weight, she had already lost 94 pounds, but she's still, still has weight that she has to hold up and do a back handspring, and she's doing it. I was like, wow, it was really cool to see her do that.
Yeah. And I mean, and then obviously they brought in Lou Retton, who of course is another Olympian extraordinaire. And so just to see the two of them, I think it was great that, of course, these are two women who she looked up to and pretty much like modeled her gymnastics career after. So for two people who she was so inspired by for so long to now almost be inspired by her, you could tell that meant like the world to her.
Yeah, and then the woman could really relate with her. She was like, I had kids and I was trying to get back to the 16-year-old gymnastic body. She was like, everybody goes through it. And I think that was great for her too, to see that even this woman that she looked up to, kind of struggled with, body image. Yeah. It's like, it's about overcoming it together. And I thought that was good for her to have somebody that she looked up to kind of deal with the same problems that she had.
Yeah. And I mean, she killed it. I mean, phase 2, her goal was 40 pounds and she hit it on
dead on
the marker, getting down to 181 pounds.
Like I was like she hit both goals. I was like, this is great. She was like on a great path.
I almost felt like I watched that leotard just getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah, no, seriously. She looked really good.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
And so then once we actually got to the gymnastics performance, I mean, they just brought out all the gymnastic greats. Shannon Miller, Dominique Dawes. I mean, it was pretty incredible.
Yeah, my anxiety was like up the roof when I was watching her because, she jumped on that little jumping beam, whatever, to get on the jumping beam, and she kind of fell off, and I was like, oh no, like I felt it for her, that fear of just like looking bad in front of everybody, because like she killed it. She was doing it all in her practices, but being in front of all those people, I almost like I knew what she was feeling. Yeah, it's hard to go out in front of all those people, especially when you're a pastor's wife and you feel like you have to be perfect all the time. To go out in front of all those people and just be out there and not be scared to fail. I tensed up when I was watching. I don't know about you.
Oh, no.
I was like,
first of all, I tense up, period. The balance beam, gymnastics just blows my mind.
Yeah.
The fact that anybody is going to walk on a beam, period, it's crazy. But yeah, and I think just her being able to just go through it in front of all those people, and even when she did her floor routine, and she did the back handspring with the spot from Heidi, but the big moment was going and doing the front handspring, and she kind of whopped it a little bit, but she, instead of being completely defeated, it's almost like she looked up and she was like,
whatever. I love that part. I'm almost glad that she didn't like stick it, because she like flopped, and it's like, oh, you're a real person, you're trying, and she went for it, and then at the end she like flopped and she was like, I did her little pose. It was perfect.
I thought it was great.
She did so good. The fact that she even went out there and did the whole performance and even did a back handspring with a spot or without a spot.
Yeah.
That's great.
It is.
So she looked great doing that.
Absolutely. And of course, even before we keep moving on, we just have to say, make sure you continue to tune in to us on iTunes. Go to iTunes, rate, comment, give us 5 stars so that we can keep on going.
Yeah, and if you're watching this YouTube video, let's chat. Comment in the section below. Let us know what you thought about tonight's episode and all that good stuff.
Yeah, or even questions for upcoming guests as well.
Yes.
Just cool stuff. And but yeah, just moving on. I mean, third phase is always like, I think, the toughest.
Yeah, it is. It's always like, I feel, where there's like the little hiccup or the most challenging part, because you're almost there.
Yeah, and it's harder to lose the weight. So it's like you still have this huge number of pounds that you have to lose, but it's a lot harder to lose it when you've lost so much. But she still did really well. Yeah,
I think her goal was to lose 20, but she lost 18. Yeah. I mean, come on. Like, she still did really good, and it was good because she was happy about it, and throughout the whole journey, she wanted to be perfect. And Heidi and Chris were like, you know what? You're the first person we're kind of glad to say we're glad you didn't hit the marker. Because
I
I was like, that's strange. But they were like, we're glad that you didn't hit the marker because we're showing you that it's okay not to be perfect.
Yeah.
You've done so well so far. You lost 18, 2 pounds off, whatever.
Right.
But you did great. And they're like, and this is good. You're okay with it. And that was a transformation for her to be like, I didn't make my goal, but hey, I'm still doing good. So that was a moment for her to look on and be like, okay, I can't be perfect all the time, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
So.
And then this is, in the third phase actually where we actually finally got to see her do her back handspring. And it was so cool even to hear Charita talk about it because, they're all rooting for each other and they've been through this process and they know what may seem like a small little thing means so much to them. Yeah. And you could just tell how proud of herself that she was finally able. At 44 years old, I mean.
44 years old and doing a back handspring.
I'm just saying.
I'm not doing back handsprings.
Now.
And I'm 25. And I'm not doing back handsprings.
So my hat goes off to you,
yeah,
Georgeanna.
that's
90
awesome.
days, I'll join you.
Back handspring.
Oh,
you put it out there, so now you got to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stick on you like everybody else. Like Heidi. I'm going to be your Heidi in your life.
She's going to be the bulldog.
Pull out the back handspring now.
Yeah. So, no, that was really great to see because at the end of the day, yes, she did her performance, but for her, it wasn't about the performance. Her number one goal was to get that back handspring because it was something she had promised herself she would do every single birthday, and every single birthday she never got it. So I thought that was a really great milestone for her.
It was a good moment, and she did it without a spot.
Yep.
And she looked great.
Absolutely. And then, of course, she's got her hubby, Scott, by her side throughout everything. I loved watching them work out together and push each other. And you can tell how motivated he even is now because he wants to actually be like a certified trainer.
Yeah, and it's important. Kind of like you said in that third phase, it's the hardest time to, really shed the pounds right there. And he was working out with her like in the morning. Yeah. She said he had to go to work early in the morning, but they would work out before. Yeah. And it was cool. In phase 3, they just showed like all the times that they were working out with one another.
Yeah.
And that was just really good. I'm glad that they were supporting one another, and he looked awesome.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I think that momentum just completely carried them into our final phase, which of course is my favorite because you get to see them come out. And I mean, she looked
phenomenal.
Yeah.
In that coral dress. She was skinny, like super skinny.
When you saw her back, we were just like, what back? You don't even have a back.
Yeah, no, she looked amazing. Like super skinny, 150 pounds. She looked awesome.
Yeah.
Her hair all done.
Yeah.
She looked great.
She looked great. She lost a total of 165 pounds. So she actually lost more than what she weighs now.
She looked so beautiful. And then her husband came up and he was just like so proud of her. And they just look great. They could do so much more together now. And they said that they're enjoying each other more. They could play more. Like, it was. I love this transformation. It was great because you saw both of them. It was all about her, but she was already, her transformation wasn't even over yet, and she was already influencing the people around her. Yeah, so
absolutely.
I thought that was great.
And that's what we love to see.
Yeah.
So, of course, we have to go heading into next week, some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I love that. So, what do you think about next week? What do you think? How do you feel? What's gonna happen?
It seemed really intense and really emotional. I feel like next week's episode is gonna be just that. A lot of anxiety for me, at least watching it.
It's anxiety for you every week. That's nothing new.
I know. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'm excited for next week, and I'm even excited to hear, hopefully later on, about even Georgeanna and her process through all of this, and even with her family, like with Scott and them just continuing to go on. I love to hear good success stories, even after the year. It's like, it's great in the year, but like Charita said, like, you've got the lights, you've got the cameras, you've got the producers, you've got everything, so you feel this, not only pressure, but support. But it's when all those things go away, how things fare up, so...
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious to me. I feel like those two are going to be fine because they're their support system. I feel like even with the cameras being gone and Chris not there, they were fine just because they motivated one another. But yeah, so I think them two, they're just going to be thumbs up.
They are going to be great. So we, of course, are excited to tune in once again next week for Extreme Weight Loss. I'm your host, Morgan Martin. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ms_Morgan Martin.
And I'm Jackie Powell. You can find me on Instagram at Jackie_POW or on Twitter at Jackie with 2 E's _POW.
All right. See you guys next week.
Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.